We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another edition of the Parents' Lounge. It is hello, Jamie Kaler here with my partner Jason Gowan.
Hi.
Kate Mulligan is
There's something going on family-wise. Don't know what, but she will not be here this evening.
My guess is she's just halfway through a bottle of Chardonnay and was like, "Can't do it. Not gonna make it."
Oh no. She is a Costco margarita lady. That is where she lives.
That makes a lot more sense. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We have a fantastic show tonight. It's kind of fitting, actually, that Mulligan's not here because we're very mom-heavy, Jason, tonight.
I had noticed,
So,
yeah.
I feel like in my own relationship, this is going to be the easiest show of all time. I'm just going to sit back and listen, which I think is a valuable skill as a dad.
I do it every week here.
I do it every waking moment. Every waking moment. You know, a lot of people say, you know, the tough thing about marriage is, you know, not having decisions. You just do what you're told. And I'm always like, that's the greatest thing about marriage, because before marriage, I had to make decisions. I had to like choose and, you know, and guide my life and make steps that I had to think about. And now I don't have to think about anything. I just literally do exactly what I'm told and just hope nobody kills me in my sleep.
See, I actually have a problem. Well, you saw the child shaved off part of my eyebrow, so I do actually have to worry that they're going to try to kill me.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then you'll flip around on like headline news or something, and there's some show about the Menendez brothers, and you're like, "Oh, that's right. Your kids can kill you."
There are shades of the Menendez in my twins.
Very much so. I said that, and I just watched Lizzie Borden on Netflix the other day. And I was like, oh, man, I don't want to get hit with an axe. That's terrible. I would really.
You think Hannah pulled the trigger on that? Well, I guess pull the handle.
She'd use an axe. She would go axe.
Yeah.
That kid's crazy. I just told her she had to go to bed and read a book while I was doing the show. And I'm honestly, she might come through the wall. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, really quick. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you. A lot of people share the show from their own page, which is super cool. Very helpful. If you know a parent who needs a good laugh, tonight's a great show for it because we have, let's just tip it. We have Your Mom's Comedy Show. Anneliese, Patty, and Kendra are joining us tonight, and they are fantastic comedy stand-up trio, I believe. You know, it's like the Marx Sisters, I would call it, in a way.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison.
I guess we'll go with that. It's duck soup, but maybe they'll make a dirty version of it called blank soup. We don't know. And I like that they're kind of clean too, so we'll be a little clean. If you're listening to us on iTunes, it means you missed the live version of it, which is every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So come find us live because our guests love the interaction and they love the questions and stuff. And if you're tuning into it on video on Facebook or YouTube, then subscribe, follow, like, review. Even if it's a horrible review, write something terrible about me. It'll remind me, remind me a lot about myself, and it'll be okay. Jason?
And if you're watching on Facebook, we are now qualify for stars. So if you like what you're seeing, click the little star, send us some stars because we need the validation for what we're doing.
I just something. My wife doesn't even know what I do for a living. She thinks every time I'm in a TV
a year and a half into the show, and she did not know who I was.
No, she doesn't. She still doesn't really know who you are. One time somebody sent her a screen grab of me like in a cleanup
From Aftermath?
I was cleaning up a murder scene, like blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What is this? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Kate, that's a movie. I was in a movie." She's like, "You were? When?" Boom. That's my life. So let's just bring our guests in so Jason and I can sit back and just listen to moms being funny.
I'm in.
It's going to be weird, though, because my wife's not funny at all. So it's going to be really weird to have 3 really funny moms with us tonight.
Yeah, we usually have a kind of funny mom and Kate and then us.
Yeah. Mulligan's our work.
Without further ado, Anneliese, Kendra, and Patty. Hello.
Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're very excited to have you guys. We had last week's show with Bill Engvall, and who I heard it was Kendra who was doing the commenting along, riffing jokes. Oh my gosh, you were so funny last week. It was really great. So it's really nice to meet. This is our first official meeting. We chatted for like 2 seconds beforehand, and we all agreed that we should wait and save the gold. So my kids, I just put my kids to bed. I have 2 young ones, but you guys, Anneliese, you have young kids, but you guys have older kids, right?
You go first.
Yeah, I have teenagers and a preteen, which is super fun. And just real quick, earlier when we were backstage, we heard you guys say we're very mom heavy on this show. I heard we have heavy moms on this show.
We are so offended.
And I was like, ugh.
It's almost as bad as when Jason called me Karen.
First of all, that was my autocorrect, and even when I tried to change it back to Kendra, it kept flipping it back to Karen. So
I thought he was calling you Karen as a joke. I thought he was saying you're a Karen.
Well, my autocorrect changed her name when I did the promo, and so she called me on it immediately, and I was like, "Gosh, I can't imagine why that shoe fit."
Hey, it was only one time I was a Karen, and my dog is still scarred that she didn't get her puppuccino. So,
Wait, you were a Karen? You tried to order a puppuccino?
For the dog. Not for me.
Okay, I got to hear this story. Did you go to Starbucks and you were one of those people who needed a very special drink for your dog?
Well, actually, I think Chuck did it because he loves his dog. We have a rescue dog. Currently, that is our child. Our children are actually grown up, 28 and 32. 28-year-olds getting married, so we're planning a wedding. And our 32-year-old son has a 10-year-old. So we have a.
Oh my gosh!
So you entered the grandparent zone.
With grandparents, we can just spoil them and throw them back.
She's the granny.
Yeah, and so since we didn't have any children, we foolishly went and got a bunch of rescue animals. We were almost to the point where it's like, okay, we're going to retire someday, and then we can't have animals. We want to travel. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, look at this rescue kitty and this rescue kitty and this rescue puppy. And yeah, so anyway, his girlfriend is Chelsea. She is half chocolate lab, half velociraptor. He loves her. They go hunting. They spend a week together.
Kendra's not.
Little Brokeback Mountain out there for him with the dog. Nice.
Yes.
Wow. I'm apologizing.
She's a rescue, so that's an excuse for everything. Oh, she didn't mean to eat the internet off the side of the house. She's a rescue.
Actually, my wife used to tell my in-laws that when they first brought me home that I was a rescue.
That joke.
I mean, are dogs worse behaved if they're rescues? Are they like, is it like Oliver Twist or something with the artful dog?
You don't know their history. I mean,
you don't know where they came from.
She was 6 months old, and I thought I'd found a miniature lab because she only weighed 37 pounds. Turned out she had parvo. So that explained why she was small. She's now over 100. She's a big old girl. She's a heavy girl. She's a heavy.
She might be. Wow. She might be bigger than I am.
Yeah, that's too big.
Yeah,
that's too big.
She might be bigger than I am.
She's big. I had my sister was thinking about getting a rescue, and we were like, really think about this. Come on. She's like, but he looks so sad. His eyes look so sad behind bars, and I'm like, that's because he's in jail.
That's so funny.
And I don't think.
Hey, anybody out there who has questions? I'm sure a bunch of your fans came in. Anyone who has questions for your mom's comedy show, please, let's see them. I have a question. I saw your post too. You guys were doing a vineyard show, which is
yes. We were just at Rich Harvest this weekend in Syracuse, Nebraska on Sunday. Mm-hmm. We had way too much fun.
Yeah. Way too much.
Right. And as Anneliese was introducing me and saying I was a grandma like Betty White, some guy yelled out, Anneliese, you want to say it?
Yeah. He's like, oh, Kendra's a GILF, which it substitute the G for the M in MILF, and you can figure it out. And
I love that you had to explain that. I'd love that you had to explain
sound it all out.
No, I feel like it's awkward.
I think we got guilt.
And this guy, I had to say, like, do you want to say that to her face? And he was like, oh yeah,
bring her out.
And I came out and I said, thank you. I think, but take a number. Stand in line.
Yeah, you need to take a number because this lady's well, I can't point the right direction. There we go. This lady's really popular, so take a number.
This lady.
Take a number, boys.
Crazy gingers. Listen, I got 2 of them in the other room. I got a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old ginger, man. We're all gingers in this family. And
I was wondering if you were a ginger when you were a kid.
I was bullied horribly. Yeah, I was Opie and I was Raggedy Andy, and I get pummeled.
And also your name is Jamie, so didn't you get compared to Jamie Summers?
I got Jamie Summers, Jamie's crying, redhead. There's a reason I got into comedy. It's because I was tormented as a child. Yes.
You're wrong. You're young, you asked.
Who's Jamie Summers?
Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman. I'm that old. You're too young.
She wasn't a redhead.
No, she wasn't. But my name's Jamie. I got it was a cross pollination of bullying.
You know what?
Bullies, they get sick of the redheaded stuff, so then they started to incorporate other stuff, and so they brought Jamie Summers in. The Bionic Woman was on when I was a kid.
But you know what bothered me about that show? She had a bionic ear, but it couldn't hear through hair. She always had to do this. Every time she was going to hear bionically, she had to move the hair because apparently she couldn't hear through hair.
You're so funny. That's something my wife would say. Of like, we'll be watching a show, and it's like, I go, Kate, it's a suspension of disbelief. Just let it go. It's just for artistic. And she gets so caught up. She's like, oh, that would never happen. It's a movie. It's a movie. Let it go, Kate. Let it go.
I feel like I have that. Maybe that's why I'm like 90% of the fights that me and my significant other get into is because I can't hear him, and maybe I just need to move my hair.
That's it.
I just need to go.
I mean, if it worked for the Bionic Woman, I feel like it can carry over to other things.
Yeah,
it could.
Yeah,
like
I can't wait for my hearing to go. Oh my! It's starting to fade a little bit. I'm so excited for when it goes. I can just click like my hearing aid off. Oh, I'm only a couple years away from it. Really?
Have you been talking to my husband? Because
I will.
Used to be his excuse.
Now I will.
I can't hear you. And now he's got these hearing aids, and I know he can hear me. But before he got them, we were checking into a hotel, wasn't it? I don't remember. It was late at night, and I had questions. And I'm walking behind him, and he's pushing the cart, with all the baggage and stuff. And I'm like, well, what do you think, Chuck? Chuck. Oh, Chuck. And he's not saying anything. We get into the elevator, and I said, couldn't you hear me? He goes, I was giving you the silent treatment. I said, it didn't work.
That's like my kids. My kids they'll just keep going. My wife, sometimes she'll be in the other room and she'll say something and I go, I can't hear you. And she'll say it again at the exact same volume. And I go, I still can't. I'm next to a speaker. I'm in the other room. I can't hear you. You either need to increase your volume or decrease the distance. It's a mathematical equation. Mm-hmm. You're just repeating what you're doing over and over again. I still can't hear you. And then finally, I kind of get up and I go, look, I'm telling you, I can't hear you. Either come in the room, and she goes, nah, never mind. And I go, whatever. And that will take like 5 minutes of conversation for us.
Yeah. When you get older, though, I've already forgotten what it was. So
when I get older, what are you talking about? I don't have a lot of years left, bud.
Oh, come on, baby.
We're always happy if he makes it through the show.
Listen, every show's a win for me at this point.
That works.
My hearing weren't amazing.
Tell him again.
It is amazing. And my kids listened to the Phantom of the Opera soundtrack. In fact, I took my oldest to see Phantom of the Opera when she was 4. She loved it. But the problem is she, heard what Christine did and decided that maybe she could try to sing that E7 in the car with me. And that happens regularly. And I'm just like, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to sing that? Like,
Anneliese is a fabulous singer, by the way.
Wait, is E7 a very high note that
I don't know what that is.
So at the end of Phantom of the Opera, Christine is like, like, except really high. That's the very last note she sings. That's piercing, like just super piercing. My kid just sits there and sings all those notes that lead up to it and then sings it. And it's just like.
So it's like she's not hitting it then.
So she's not hitting it well, but she's up in that range and it is painful.
It's like having a pterodactyl in the house.
Except an octave up from that.
So my daughter's 9. She had chorus tryout today, and she's been doing drama at her little grammar school or whatever. And so she had to sing a song they're doing a musical. They did Shrek the musical last year, and she had to. She needed a song, so she worked really hard, and she kept singing "A Million Dreams" from The Greatest Showman. Yeah, it's a good song. She sang it a million times, and of course she went and she goes. I told her, I said, you should go first. I said, raise your hand, get up there, because I'm a comic. People go, comics hate going first, but if it's if it's all 5 dad comics, you're like, dude, go first, because every guy's going to start crossing jokes off their list that you just did. And so, of course, she kind of hems and haws, and she doesn't go up first, and like 10 other kids sing A Million Dreams. They sang her song. So she got freaked out. And then all week, she's like, I think I'm going to try to do a different song for next week. And I go,
you need more.
That can be a train wreck, too. You got to stick with your guns, because they're not listening for the song. They're just listening for your voice. So she kind of had a meltdown about
yeah, but maybe she sang it the best. And then you go up and you just blow everybody out of the water.
Well, there are a couple kids. Like, there was a kid in Shrek the musical last year that, like, she was like 9, and I was like, is that kid Broadway trained? Like, it was freakish how good the kid was. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and like like Mariah Carey, I know we're all like going, we're still in PTSD from all of that from Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
For Christmas is You. But in the movie Love Actually, I like that little girl when she sings it. She's way better than Mariah Carey. Haters, deal with it. Okay, because this little girl is good.
Did she say that on stage a lot? Does she say something offensive and then just say haters, deal with it?
No, I'm so unoffensive.
Is that your go-to? That's so funny.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Yeah.
Just deal with it.
Like,
if you were on Toddlers and Tiaras, that would be your catchphrase.
Yeah.
They'd do a freeze frame of you and go, just deal with it. And you'd be on T-shirts. You'd be everywhere.
Oh my God.
I think I've done that to hecklers, though. Said, bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart. Bless his heart. We all know what that means. Okay.
Is that an Omaha accent, Kendra?
No, that's just me. I'm a mimic of whatever.
And you have a natural Southern drawl that just kind of leak out.
That, but I can also do the Minnesotan thing. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. So shout out to my kid's grandma, who probably isn't watching, but my ex-husband might be. But she is from the South, and I can do her and her sister Joyce. And her name is Joyce, and her sister's name was Mary, and I can do them. And I, taint fitting to 8, gonna mash some buttons. He had to carry me to the hospital, and I'm like, carry you? Didn't you have a car? But in the South, they call it carrying people.
Yeah, carrying.
But
people.
we also spent how long were we in Sioux Falls? 15. I have an issue with numbers, so I have no concept of time, money, or anything.
Kendra, is your husband just sitting off camera like a dog, staring at you, waiting for the next command?
Pretty much.
What's his name? Chuck?
He's over there going.
Chuck.
Oh my goodness. Her husband is like our biggest fan. I don't know if it's intentional on his part, but he comes to all the shows. We'll go and eat with us after the shows and laugh at all the jokes. He's
my 2.0. He's an upgrade. He's a 2.0.
Yeah, my fiance just has abandoned all of my shows. He's like, oh no. Oh,
he's over it.
He's over it.
My wife hasn't.
I think he just is tired of me getting on stage and making fun of him. And now everybody knows that that's him. So he's just trying to hide in the shadows. It doesn't really work. So he just.
That show gets very hard to make fun of. You know, it's not good for comedy to have the perfect husband. So I talk about my ex one. My 1.0. This is my 2.0. He's my upgrade. So
I mean, my ex-husband tells me that I am not funny repeatedly. So
that's why he's your ex. So wait, all three of you have ex-husbands.
We do. Well, you don't. You just don't have ones that are committed to being a husband.
I don't have a husband. I have never had a husband.
She has exes.
I have exes
and a fiance.
We've been engaged for 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a long time, Jason. It's a long time.
Are you going to tell him to fish or cut bait here soon, or what's happening?
Well, she does have a couple kids with him.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty much stuck with him at this point.
Oh, you're pot committed. You're not getting out of this hand that easily.
Yeah, we're kid committed. I'm stuck.
Well, doesn't it kind of helps with taxes to be married, I feel like.
No, it actually
it's better not to.
Really?
I think
it's better not to be married.
I think
it is
make out better in taxes.
Okay, thank you. Because I was
looking
for a reason for divorce, but now I just found it.
Now we got it.
Go ahead and just rip that.
Why is it? Wait, why is it better? Why is it better not to be married?
You can claim head of household status.
Yeah.
And
single head of household is better.
Single and head of household, and if you're claiming children, it's just a sneaky.
Yeah, financially, I was better off when I was single too, but I kind of like this guy, so I'll keep him.
Yeah,
I got to look into that. You know what? Some people are doing for college. The kids are declaring their what's it called? Not
emancipation.
Yes. The kid gets emancipated, then shows zero income, and then qualifies for financial aid. So I know people who are kind of well off, and the kid goes emancipated, and then files as a solo child to get financial aid for college. And I was like, that's kind of genius, really.
Now, Anneliese is our financial and legal expert because she is a lawyer and she advises us.
Are you?
Well, I can't advise you because I work in-house
legally do that.
a company and I can't represent members of the public. So I can't really advise you. I can just be like, I'm a lawyer, but I can't.
Can you tell us the company, or is that kind of?
I'm a lawyer.
In comedy, I just keep my mouth zipped about where I work and what I do.
Right.
Fair. I just don't put it out there.
That's a disclaimer. Anneliese Wright is not officially a legal spokesperson.
So you have younger children, Anneliese.
Yeah, they are 6 and 8. Not super young, but young.
So 7 and 9.
Did have a birthday,
oh wow!
I have
7 and 9
and 3 and 3.
Wow!
Stars.
Wow! So my youngest is 6, but she wants to pretend that she's still my baby. I don't know if either of you have that going on with your youngest being like, I'm still your baby. Yes. And my youngest is large for her age, super tall. And she wants to cuddle up with me to sleep. But if she doesn't, I will wake up in the middle of the night with a 60-pound child on my chest because she wanted to cuddle. Not good.
They're really not the weighted blanket I was looking for.
I wake up with a 200-pound child on my chest. Is that
his name's Kyle?
His name is Kyle.
That's Kyle.
That's my fiance.
That's funny.
Did you show up in a t-shirt?
I want to hear the whole origin story of how the three of you decided to form a comedy trio and how this worked. Were you guys stand-ups individually?
Yes.
Yes.
We were stand-ups.
So did you meet at the club is it the Funny Bone in Omaha?
No, that's not where we met. We were actually there have been various moms in the group, but myself and Patty, we've been part of it since the very beginning. And you weren't at that OK Comedy Battle, right?
I was not.
So I went to a comedy battle, and I hadn't really met a lot of women or a lot of mom comics, and I met one, and we decided we'd try to do a show. And we're like, well, let's get some more people on board. So we got Patty, and the first show went really well. And we did shows. Our best ones were at the vineyards. We go to James Arthur Vineyard in Raymond, Nebraska. Twice a year we sell out on Mother's Day and during the summer. And so we just started expanding our horizons. And like now, third Saturday of every month, we are downtown at the Backline Comedy Theater. What did they do? I was not looking at the screen. My husband's laughing.
Anneliese was showing the James Arthur.
Oh yeah.
James Arthur
we didn't do anything. I thought though, if it's a group of moms, if it's a group of moms and you've kind of people have moved on and you brought new people in, I don't know how you didn't call the group Mamudo.
Mamudo. Like Menudo.
Oh,
that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
What?
It was a deep pull because Menudo wasn't it? It was like they just kept changing out people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably would have been harder to explain on Facebook. And actually, here's the funny thing about our name. Okay,
yeah.
So it's YER. It's very important. It's YER. It's Your Mom's Comedy and Show. You got to put the show on. If you don't put show, you're gonna get a website that has very graphic sexual positions. That aren't easy to do.
Comedy.
No, we actually run that site. That's why we were scoping out the competition.
Okay.
That's our only source of income is off of that site. And honestly, it's pretty good. We get a lot of money off of that.
Maybe you can answer that. What size of bolt do we need in the ceiling so that the ceiling fan won't come down when we do maneuver 12?
Yeah.
We need to
Okay,
know.
we'll work on the swing and stuff. Yeah.
We
have a new page going up tonight called GILF. And I think everyone's gonna really enjoy it.
I think it's gonna be fantastic. You just need to watch the. You just need to watch
Brent says the Momedians. The Momedians.
We looked into that. We looked into Momedians and Momics. We thought about Momics.
Your Mom's Comedy
Show.
No, he's asking about the other
what?
one.
The other.
Yeah, he's mean. Here's what I'm gonna tell you.
It's
Everybody who watches this
about Mom Comics, okay?
This is
wait, what
is this
was
where Jason's ads come from?
That's from a past thing. For some reason, my targeted ads, all of a sudden, I was getting targeted ads from a something. I don't forget what
it was. A service that if you had a bad porn addiction, this was a service that you could join, and they would help wean you off of porn. And he kept getting like just blanket ads for this thing.
Yeah, they really wanted me to go. And then when you would go in, and it was a culty kind of thing. Yeah, it was like a conversion therapy kind of thing. But
no more.
It was bold of them to assume that I wanted to recover.
Was it like pray away the porn?
Pray away the porn.
Yeah,
very similar. Yeah,
exactly where that was headed.
I feel like I feel like my phone is gonna pick this up. You know how Facebook like listens to everything and then gives you ads. I feel like my phone is gonna pick this up, and now I'm going to get those ads.
And it's gonna bring you back to the other Your Mom's website, which we run. So thanks for the question.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
All about that algorithm, baby.
So we started 5 years ago, and 4 years ago I started the page, I think. And then Anneliese, has it been a year and a half or 2 years?
Goodness, it's been a year and a half. But
like
it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how Kendra and I met up in the first place. It was because I was like, there's not enough representation of female comedians, and there hasn't been in our scene really in certain aspects. And then a guy was like, well, I have this venue reserved. I'm going to put on a show of all female comedians.
Oh, him.
I'm not going to reference the person, but this person did that. Kendra's going to be on the show. I was going to be on the show. Then the person was like,
what were they looking at?
I don't get along with one of these people. I'm just not going to have a show anymore. See ya. I was like, okay. And then Kendra and I went to a board game cafe and played board games. And Kendra actually tried to poison me with uncooked chicken. No, I'm kidding.
I did not. No, I didn't. Number one, I didn't cook it. Number two, I did not know that big chicken tender was not fully cooked. You could have said, ew, this is.
I could have. I just took a huge. So we're at a board game cafe that also served food, and they gave it we got chicken tenders. I bite into the middle of one before realizing that it's not cooked at all in the middle. I eat half of it.
It was terrible. I was oh my gosh.
So Kendra felt
off already.
So Kendra felt just so bad for me that she was like,
"Hey, Joey."
Like, hey, you need to be part of our group because I need to like make up for like almost killing you with chicken.
Yeah, well, let's just put it this way. When we asked you to join, we had all discussed it, and we were at a dinner afterwards, and I'm not going to mention the other person. Anyway, so we're like, and we're just so excited to officially say you're going to be part, we'd like to ask you to be part of your moms. And all of a sudden the other person said, I wasn't consulted. It's like, yes, you were. And I feel like I'm talking to my husband. I've got to pull out the text now to prove that, yes, I have in fact informed you. So anyway, so we're all happy campers, and things have just taken off tremendously this year. We have been going out. We've hit the big time. We did an Eagles Club in Columbus, Nebraska.
We sure did.
We did a fundraiser in Kendra, Nebraska, and we're striking out to Iowa in February. We're going to Dow City, so
venturing out to Dow City.
But I have been doing comedy for about 20 years. Part of that time was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where they didn't have a whole lot of comedy clubs. They had a Funny Bone. It didn't last super long time, but I did work there, so I got to meet all sorts of people, and anybody coming through, I interviewed them. Rocky Laporte, Etta May, BT, all of those guys, Craig Peters, all of them. And that kind of gave me an idea of what I wanted to do. And they all said, don't go blue, because back then, I guess, yes, we had cable, but the goal was still the Tonight Show. And, you couldn't be blue on there, couldn't have bad language. So I kept writing stuff, and I started doing corporate stuff, and then we ended up moving back here to Omaha, Nebraska. And I took a little break. I did improv for a while. We'd love to come to Cincinnati. Hire us, Brent.
Heck yeah.
So I did improv for a while. I
have some questions here for a second, Kendra. Yeah. So, yes, the road sounds fantastic. But Anneliese, I have a 7 and a 9-year-old, and I'm going to tell you, the road's a little rough for me to get out. I haven't been on the road much. I used to tour all the time before I had kids, and now it's just not worth it. It's too hard.
We just do an annual show together.
Yeah, we do an annual show, and I
was going to ask you, because I saw some of that, and I was like, how often do you guys get on the road? Because for us three to get out on the road like overnight, we would love to do it, but it's kind of like herding cats.
Yeah,
me too.
Because really this one's got kids in all sorts of select teams, and so you're busy with that, and you've got your youngins. Well, Anneliese, I'm pointing to her. No one can tell what I'm doing. I'm pointing to Anneliese, Lisa. That she's got little kids, and it's always fun to work out the exchange of hostages.
That's what's been great about this. This has been so much fun for us because I still get to get out my creative comedy stuff. And even the last album I put out, I ran it one weekend and then memorized it and shot it in front of like all the parents at my kids' school, because I just couldn't get out on the road to go out and do it. It just came out super
you guys
fun.
have a dry bar special, right?
I don't have a dry bar special.
But you have an album.
I have a couple albums on iTunes. And I'll go out when the money has to be worth it, because I need childcare. My wife works and we both work. And this weekend I'm gone to a club soccer game in Oceanside for a 7-year-old. We're gone for the whole weekend for a 7-year-old soccer team. And then my other daughter does, it's like every weekend something else. So for me to go out, the money has to be right, and it has to be, or I'm just trying to get away from my kids for a week.
That's what it usually is for me.
That's what it usually is. Like, I'll do this for free. Please, can I just, please, can I go?
I just want to go somewhere, because ever since we got the chocolate mousse, that's the rescue. She hates other dogs, so she can't go to a boarding facility. She's not fond of people that much, especially men in camouflage. We think there was an abusive situation there. So, nobody really wants a dog that wants to
you hold on, back up. You're telling me men in camouflage can behave poorly? That's so odd. No.
Now, my husband is a hunter.
Right? Chuck's sitting here like,
very careful.
Wait.
Yeah, comedy tournament soccer. Actually, that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to perform at club soccer. We've done vineyards too, which, by the way, vineyards and golf courses for me were like my target demographic.
Wow. Try golf
country clubs and vineyards. We tried to put a vineyard tour together. We worked with 600. And those two often do this, Anneliese, where they just go off on their own conversation for a while. It feels like the two of them are. feels like.
She couldn't get a sitter and she'd be here. She'd have to sit in her laps though because
I'm sitting with my kid. My kids are chilling out, but yeah, no, they.
And sometimes my kids will watch Annaliese's kids,
yes,
which is helpful because I have teenagers. So my teenagers will sometimes watch Annaliese's kids, and that is super helpful.
Got to do. I would love to do breweries.
Watch each other, and that kind of solves the problem depending on when. Sometimes my parents watch my kids. They don't live very far away, so.
See you, Brent. Brent's saying later. Hey, so I did a gig in Omaha.
When?
It was almost 7 years ago next month. I know very specifically the date. No, it was a corporate gig. Oh. I used to tour with Larry the Cable Guy, who lives in Nebraska.
Yes, in Lincoln.
So I flew into Omaha. I did a gig. My wife was 8 months pregnant. She was due not for a month. And so it was a good money gig. And I said, all right, I'm going. And we said, all right. So I booked it. I left Saturday morning. I was coming back Sunday morning. I was gone for 24 hours. And she went into labor about 4 hours after I took off. And so I watched my second child be born in line at the Omaha airport, getting on a plane for Southwest. And people were like, dude, hang up your phone. And I was like, dude. And so
I'm having a baby.
Me FaceTiming with my newborn child being held up.
Oh no!
And she's still to this day. She's 7. She's like, you missed my birth, Dad.
Don't drag that out forever.
I think I've made it up. I made you crepes this morning.
When I interviewed all of these comedians that came through the Sioux Falls Funny Bone, that was the thing that you kind of noticed. It's like, a lot of them weren't married. They were divorced because road is hard. And I'd like to keep this husband. Like I said, he's my upgrade. So,
you're at a point where you can just travel. He can travel with you.
Yes, I'm going to
do my senior tour when I'm in my 70s. I'll hit the road again once the kids are in college. Yeah.
There you go. There's going to be, we'll find places, nursing homes. They'll like us. I can't do my joke about Golden.
Hello, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
This is Patty. Hi.
Hi, Lucy.
I'm
your favorite, right?
Lucy, do you have a joke for us, Lucy? Do you have a joke?
That you can tell us, Lucy?
Yeah.
What's your joke?
What is it?
Why doesn't the hammerhead shark doesn't like to go to fast food restaurants?
Oh, I don't know why.
Because he can't catch them.
Because why, Lucy?
He can't catch them.
Because why can't you catch them?
Because they're too fast.
Because it's fast food.
Fast
food. Like to go.
Yes.
Good job, Lucy.
And he's got that.
Good one.
Good.
Now you already have fans, Lucy. You already have fans. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lucy, do you want to go watch more Disney? Back?
Wow, this is way more interesting.
I'm going to tell embarrassing stories about you, Lucy, if you don't go watch Disney.
I got a few embarrassing stories about my kids.
Yeah, tell us embarrassing stories about Lucy.
I'm going to tell some embarrassing stories about Lucy if she doesn't go watch her. No, we can't watch TV out here, Lucy.
My kids
go watch our Disney.
We have a big screen TV where they can watch TV shows and movies. And even if they watch like a movie, they'll watch it on their tiny iPad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get my kids to watch my daughter to watch Disney on her iPad.
Yeah.
They don't even want to watch shows. Watch it on her iPad when I was there. She does.
My daughter will watch. She'll watch videos of hamsters running through mazes for like a week straight.
Ours treat the house like some sort of art museum where they just walk screen to screen in various sizes and they watch a little bit on each one and they move to the next.
Speaks to me. This one right here.
Right.
To me.
I get the feeling of an oppression from modern man and woman. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I love the way.
So, Jason, were you a stand-up too? Were you both stand-ups?
I am now. He kind of has taken me under his wing.
Well,
how did you two meet? How did Jamie and Jason, how did you guys meet?
It's a great story, Jason. Let's hear it.
So 6 days after my twin sons were born, my wife had a stroke. And
so
we were home for all of 2019 rehabbing her. We went back out into the world for 1 month and COVID hit. So I was stuck for the next 2 years. And I had newborn twins. I had a sick wife. I needed an outlet for creativity. I had no idea about parenting. So I started a little podcast called Dadpocalypse. And I come from paranormal reality TV, and Jamie had also done paranormal reality TV. So a mutual friend of ours who knew both of us said, "Hey, do you know Jamie Kaler from Haunted Live? He was on that TV show My Boys, blah 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 blah." And he's like, "You should get him as a guest on your show because he's doing a dad podcast as well." And he came as a guest.
I was called the Dad Lands. That was my witty title.
So the two of us,
like Supernatural.
Yep. So he came on my show and we just clicked, and then he came back, and then all of a sudden we combined the two shows, and here we are.
Okay, that's cool. Exciting.
And then we realized we were two idiot dads, and we didn't have a mom for a voice of reason. So then Kate Mulligan came in, and she's been the voice of reason, and she has family stuff tonight. But otherwise, she's kind of a comedic force in her own right. So then we ended up doing the show took off, and then we got booked in this theater in Pennsylvania, and we had. I had done a ton of stand-up, and I just had an album out, but Jason had never done stand-up. So to his credit, he wrote like an hour of material. And we both got on stage, and he did his hour and I did my hour, and it went great. And so I'd never seen anybody like do that. Like he's performed a ton, but he hadn't done like stories, but it was all story based with jokes, and he wrote and memorized these bits. And I was like, wow. So it was good.
He's been a good teacher though. Like he's kind of given me a lot of pointers.
I didn't have anything to do with it. You'd say, "Is this funny?" I go, "Yeah, it seemed fine. Just say it. See what they say."
Yeah, fine. Just say it and see what happens.
Well, you mentioned that you had toured with Larry the Cable Guy.
I did. I was one of the blue collar, the next generation. Which we had a cup of coffee at. But I've toured with all those guys. I was with the same management company as Stop Lying to These Women, Jobo. I opened for Larry. I opened for Jeff Foxworthy, Bill Engvall a lot. That's how Bill came to the show. Jeff and Larry. And I opened for Ron as well, Ron White. And,
and I actually ran into Ron White, physically ran into him. I had just performed at the Comedy Store in the original room, and I went to the back hallway where they have all the pictures and stuff, because Andrew Dice Clay had come and he'd been on stage that night, and I wanted to get a picture, but I couldn't do it at the time for whatever reason. And so I'm trying to take a picture of the picture, and I backed up right into Ron. And I'm like, "Oh, hi, I just got off stage." And he's like, "I just came down from the belly room," and I physically collided with him. And I'm like, "Can I take a picture?" And so I'm never very good at doing the whole selfie thing. I always look constipated, like,
sure.
So really, Tater Salad. It was awesome to meet him. I've seen him in concert. And actually, we kind of like the concept of what they do at the end of the Blue Collar tour, at the end of their show, where they sit down in chairs and they do a little Q&A, or they do a little chatting. And that's what we do for the last 15 minutes of every show. And we sit in chairs, and it's a little improv. We'll ask for topics and we'll talk about it. Or maybe we're like at the Backline Theater that will be at this weekend at 7:00. We come up with a theme. There aren't a lot of mom comics in Omaha. There's a few. So we end up with a lot of dads on our show. And our theme for this weekend is baby love. And one gentleman is expecting a baby. Well, physically his wife is. And the other one has the cutest little baby. She's almost 2, but they had her in early 2020, and watching her grow up on Facebook just like got me through the pandemic. And he's a stand-up comic. And so when we do Mom Time, we do invite the dads or our guests to come, and they say that is the funnest part of the show.
Yeah, and it's fun doing that because the audience gets involved too. I mean, we'll have it's not like they're heckling. It's like they just kind of shout out some topics or things that they can relate to. And then we just play off of that as well. So it's fun to be interactive with the audience.
Well, we did that at Christmas time. We did a Hallmark movie. And because we discovered that Anneliese does not like Christmas.
I hate Christmas.
She's single and she's a career woman and she's just waiting for a Hallmark movie to happen.
But on stage I am, because all my jokes say I'm single. But
So, wait a minute. Are you single?
Yeah. No, I mean, like on stage I claim I'm single, but long story. Dating someone, but
not
like
legally married.
Not legally married.
Have you been with the same person for a long time?
No, several months, but not a long time. But like it's just awkward because I have a lot of comedy about dating and like
having children.
Like dating while having children, which is awkward as heck.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But very, very I'm sure a lot of people I know a lot of people who are doing it. And it's funny too, because we haven't had a lot of guests who have talked about it.
Yeah, that's true.
We think about it a lot obviously we think about it a lot.
Dating with children a lot.
We think about it a lot.
It is.
And
I'm dating right now on my kid. Like
it's really
to date somebody, and when is the point where you go, all right, you can come meet the kid? Like it's got to be weird.
A long time. I haven't done that.
So what's the timeline? At what point are you going to judge it by the individual, or do you have like a hard timeline?
For me, it would probably be at least 6 months. It's beyond that. It's not hard, but like honestly, most of the people that I've gone on a date with, and just like was like, okay, this isn't for me. It's just like ridiculous. Like when you're in your later 30s, like I am, the kind of people who are out there, it's usually just like not good. I have stories.
Dating pool's not good.
The guys that she has met on the apps is one of the funniest things. So I don't care if she gets married tomorrow. You have to talk about Bumble and Grumble and Grinder Binder or whatever all those things are.
So Bumble has just like, I don't know. I like Bumble not because of like necessarily the people you meet on it, because of the weird pictures and weird stuff you see on it. Like I found this guy with his picture on Bumble, multiple pictures, where he has a toxic waste symbol tattooed on his forehead. Like it's his actual tattoo. And he's
all right, hold on, because narcolepsy was great back in the day. Kendra, hang on. Narcolepsy says it was great back in the day when my mom brought home an Elvis impersonator. I mean, you think about that as a kid.
Oh my God.
There should be. Why don't you start an app that is only for parents? A dating. There's better be one. A dating app for parents alone. You cannot be on there without children.
There's one now that's supposedly that, and my child just ran around. The problem with dating is, in part, like if you find somebody that you like and you want to see them, your children immediately insert themselves into the scenario. Like,
all right. Off of that, Jobo says I would use my kid like tattoo on Fantasy Island and have him bringing out drinks on a tray. Wouldn't that be funny? If I was like, Claire, get in here, and she's like, oh, hello, Daddy.
Well, when I was single, I mean, it had to be at least 3 months. I couldn't wait 6 months because I was getting old, and I needed to know if they were going to pass inspection. I mean, they had to be able to pass inspection by my kids, by my cats, by my parents. I can't waste all this time. I mean, clock was ticking. I only had so much time, because that's something that we've talked about too, is that if you have a couple of kids and you date somebody, you get a new husband or whatever, they might want to have one. So it's like, time, and
Joe says there would definitely be people on there who would pretend they had kids.
Right.
Like, and just, they'd have like fake, they'd have photoshopped with themselves and stuff. Anneliese, have you brought guys home, and have they been like part of your children's family at all?
No, not yet. Like I'm very, very protective of that.
How long have you been a single mom?
So I've been separated from my ex since about January of 2019. Divorce finalized March 2020, exactly when the pandemic started.
You guys were visionaries. You saw the pandemic coming and said, "Look, man, I got to get out of this thing." I'm not gonna.
Lucy, can you go watch some Disney, please, honey? Yeah. So this is the problem. Literally, children pop up constantly.
Yeah.
My older.
it happens here too.
He has 3-year-old twins.
Oh my
That dude right there is 3-year-old twins.
They're probably under his feet right now.
My oldest kid hacked my phone and like looked at my texts. And
She has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She did. Wait. She said what? Lucy. She did what?
Hey, don't say the Lord's name in vain.
What? I'm sorry.
Don't say the Lord's name in vain.
Don't say the Lord's name in vain. Okay, Lucy.
That's a sin.
Yes, Lucy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Lucy, what are you doing?
Okay, now that segues to Patty's best joke, one of her best.
Oh my goodness, Lucy. Can you please?
Huggy.
I'll give you a huggy. Can you please go have your snack?
Oh yeah. Well, I talk about like cussing in front of the kids. Like I don't cuss in front of my children. I know it's weird these days to not cuss in front of your children, but I did have, like, my kids have no idea that I say cuss words. But I did, even they're teenagers now. I think they kind of know, but I called my fiance one day and I was like dropping the F-bomb left and right. And he's like, whoa, babe, you're on speakerphone and the kids are in the car. And I didn't know what to do. So I hung up. Well, and then like, yeah, he calls, and then the kids come home a few minutes later and they're like, Mom, we heard you cussing on the phone. And I was like, what? That wasn't me. That was not me. They're like, well, Dad said it was his girlfriend. And I was like, well, Dad must have another girlfriend. Like, he must be cheating on me. And she's got a foul mouth, this girlfriend of his. So
she was a hussy.
She is a foul mouth hussy. So
hey, go back. Jobo says, he goes, I never curse in front of my kid unless I'm really mad, you know. I have a big bit on one of my albums about the first time I swore in front of the kid.
No, I told my kids that they could start cussing when they turn 16 because when they get their driver's license, that's when they're going to really need to start to learn how to cuss.
I agree.
They're going to need cuss words when they turn 16.
But you'd rather have him.
Yeah, I would much rather have my kids believe that their dad is cheating on me than I say bad words. Because I come out on top of that.
Oh, look who's back. Lucy's back.
Yes, she is.
Lucy.
Yeah. So when my youngest was 4, I was trying to watch my language, and we were driving in the car, and somebody cut right in front of me, and I'm like, ooh, I wanted it, and all of a sudden, Aaron leans towards the window and goes, you can kiss my mother's egg. So thanks, son. Thank you. That's my Lumpy. That's my youngest. He's still called Lumpy because if we're in a crowded space, he won't hear Aaron. But if I yell Lumpy, he'll turn his head. So he gets to be Lumpy.
Tonight, my 7-year-old came in, and I thought he was practicing sight words, and he held up the letter F, and he's like, show me an F word. And I said fish, and he said, no, you know.
No.
And
you know the word I want.
And I said, I'm not going to say that. He's like, you're an adult. You can say it. Say it, Dad.
I just want to watch
it. Yeah. So he was like, he was jonesing for an F-bomb, but I did not.
I would have been like Farfignugan.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Farfignugan. That's a good one. Yeah. I usually say food like fettuccine.
Fettuccine.
If you've ever stepped on a Lego or stubbed your toe in front of children, you have to have words like that.
Yeah.
I played soccer a lot, and then I played with English guys. And if you play with English guys, they like the C word. Do you know the
right?
Yes.
They do.
In this country, you say the C word, and it is.
Oh yeah, no.
It's worse than the F-bomb. It's the word.
I've watched The Boys on Prime. Okay, they say that word every other time, and I love that character.
I was in a phase where I was saying it a lot, and then right when we start, remember when your car, you could start to talk on the car. It was like this. Oh my gosh, you could talk in the car. And I was talking to my mother one time. She was on the car phone with me. And somebody cut me off, and I dropped a C-bomb that my mother heard. Oh, no. I tried to play it off like, somebody walked by the car and spat. Like I couldn't get out of it, but I said the C word in front of my mother.
You can always say you were doing an English accent. You said the word can't.
Yeah. I think I tried to explain the soccer. I said, Mom, remember I used to play soccer? She goes, there's no reason to use that word.
Oh my gosh.
So angry at me.
have so I had a really embarrassing moment when I was doing improv, and my parents were watching. It was the beginning of the pandemic, and the prompt I got to do an improvised rap was pickle. The problem is what that implies, other than a pickle, and I talked about the thing you would do with something shaped like a pickle, and my parents listened, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god, they were listening, and I'm like, they were great though. They didn't say a word about it after, even though my parents are like super conservative.
Well,
and my kid's coming back out again, like literally every 5 minutes or less. This kid runs out, and I'm like, you do in there. But
all right, so Anneliese, I have a question for you then. When you lose it, how bad do you lose it?
How bad do I lose it?
Yeah. All three of you. We'll start with Anneliese. When I've lost it, even lately, I'll swear right to their face right now. I'll just lose it and I'll go, you are making my life miserable. You're making my fucking life miserable. And I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. You're going to do what you're told, or I am going to make your life so painful. I'll do that. I'll melt down. Do you, like, if the kids are just pulling you all day, do you guys melt?
Well, especially with my youngest, I turn into like, I'm not a military person, but I have a military voice that turns on when she is just wild. I am like, Lucy, you sit down now. You know, like.
I didn't buy that for a second. Jason, did you buy that? That was weak.
I didn't want to yell. Like, I didn't want to blow
we know you. You never.
Where's the rage, Anneliese? Where is the rage?
I'm former Navy. I was a Navy lieutenant, and I will explode on my children. They've like sometimes I've had to like go back in like an hour later while they're trying to sleep. Like, and I'm like, Daddy, sorry, Daddy. Did you really? You pushed.
I'm a short, heavy-set Italian man, so I also will explode.
You pushed him. You did this. Yeah.
It's well, I don't want to scream your volume out. Like, I don't want to.
It's fair. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not good because I know it's a phone. It's only gonna handle so much loudness before it is weird and distorts.
You should bring like one of the guys, if you date a guy and he's like tall and intimidating, you should just bring him home for like one night and let him meet the kids, and then from then on go and just have him look at him really scary and then leave the house, and then anytime they act up, they go, should I call him? Do you want him to come back? I'll make him come back.
Yeah, I mean that's a great idea. Unfortunately, it's a great idea. Unfortunately,
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that.
But unfortunately, so my kid's father is like actually a really tall dude who fits the exact description of what you're describing. So like he can do that. So I've always theorized that
you don't have to be tall to scare the daylights out of a child.
No, that's actually Joe Pesci. You can be really short and be terrifying. Do you have split custody?
I have my children like 75% of the time. So
he's one of those guys who takes them bowling every other weekend or something.
No, it's a very weird schedule. Like I have them overnight 5 nights. He has them overnight 2 nights, and then a couple hours on a different day.
What are you losing it for?
What, Kendra?
I was just watching Jason. He's laughing, and I don't know why. I'm trying to.
He was laughing at me because I said, oh, I see the guy who shows up to take him bowling once every 2 weeks or something.
He's more involved. He likes to be involved. It's just.
I'm sure he's watching this right now, and he's gonna hunt me down.
Probably. And he's probably gonna tell me tomorrow how not funny I was. And
it's happened on this show before.
What?
Just anytime people say I'm not funny.
This show is an X collective. X's come here to watch what we're doing quite often.
X collector.
Oh, you're on number 2 as well, Jason.
That is correct.
I'm on number 1, but only because I didn't start until I was 50. So I couldn't live long enough to get a second one in there.
You are not 50. You're like 37.
I had my kids at 50.
Well, you can do that because you're a god.
Yeah, I guess it's heavily filtered. I have Vaseline over the lens. It's all coming together.
That's it.
That's the trick.
And it's brilliant
you
to
don't
start.
have
It's brilliant to start late because, like, I mean, Kendra, you got married pretty young.
Probably. I didn't have mine till I was 27 and 31, so that was later.
I got married when I was 29, which I was still too young. Like, if I would have, you know, if you wait until you're 40,
was number one.
Yes, world's okayest dad. There you go.
I'm still on my starter marriage. I can't. My wife's gonna. I always tell people, go like, "Hey, what are you gonna do for your kids' college?" I go, "That's my wife's second husband's problem. That's not. I won't be around for that." So I don't know.
We can always crowdfund your next marriage.
Honestly, we should crowdfund. We should.
Well, you know, your first spouse is like your first house. You get it because it's cute, and your second one, you're like, I'm getting it inspected. I'm gonna make sure the firm foundation, the plumbing works, and no bats in the attic.
I hope that's in the act. That's actually a really good joke. That's
and I about died the first time I did it in front of
That's
my
great
ex-mother-in-law.
joke. Oh my!
She came to the show.
Yeah, she came. She comes and stays at our house for like a month or so around the holidays. She comes and stays in the summer for like a month. She's awesome. She's an Energizer bunny. She likes to clean. So
Does she love you more than the ex-husband now? Is that what is one of those deals?
Well, I don't think she'd say that because she lives with him in Florida, so we won't go there. But I think she likes us a lot.
Oh, good.
And she thinks Chuck is a peach.
Aww.
So she thinks
Really, Chuck is a
peach. Chuck is a peach. Well,
it's always
interesting. You don't have to be tall and imposing to scare the daylights out of your kid. I would scare them with either the big old bug eyes like Carol Burnett, what she would do, and she know, like you gonna sit down right there else, or you do the real quiet Clint Eastwood kind of thing, like you're feeling lucky, punk. Chuck, I about scared him to death because, I was trying to raise sons. They were 3 and 7, and sometimes they get loud to listen. And I would do this on the table, which if I do now, then all of my stuff would fall down. And it scared him at first, but after being with the kids for a while, he went, oh no. Because when we got married, we had a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old boys, and we had 11 and 13, 14-year-old girls, and whoa, it's like, okay, so now do we have 2 kids and we just call it the Brady Bunch? And it was like, nope, we're in South Dakota, we're gonna get a lab. They already got a pickup and a gun rack, so gotta get a dog.
Gotta get a dog.
Get a dog. You got a dog.
Yeah, I got a dog, but with my kids, I don't do any of the yelling or screaming or anything like that. Mine, when they know that I have snapped, is very different. I just start laughing psychotically. I just start.
That can be scary. That's jokerish. That's like a Joker.
Yeah. And then, I mean, my kids are fine now. They're teenagers, but when they were smaller and I had to take all 3 to the grocery store, by the end of checkout, I was just like laughing hysterically like a psychotic person. And the people at the register are like, oh my God. When I'm like getting out my debit card and just and then
Jobo says, I told my son that if he doesn't listen, he'll end up like Jonathan. Jonathan is his brother who we gave away for not listening. There never was a Jonathan.
I thought he went through the portal. I thought that was the joke, is that he goes through the portal, and they're like, what portal? It's like, exactly. No,
and I would just draw a portal on a wall and go, oh, you're going through the portal.
It's like Doctor
Who. Maybe you could just like drive by those safe haven boxes. You know what I'm talking about? Just cruise by them and just point at them and just be like,
I'm gonna drop your butt there.
I know you might not fit in that box, but I'm gonna make you fit.
Oh my goodness! Fun fact about Nebraska. Patty's very well aware of this and has talked about it before. Our legislature several years ago passed a safe haven law where you could drop off your children and just give up custody, except they didn't specify that it was children who were like babies. So people like drove to Nebraska to get rid of all of their children of all ages.
All their 13-year-olds.
Or they just drove to Boys Town and deposited them directly, because we have Boys Town.
Wait, you're saying I cannot drive to Nebraska and drop my children off?
Not now.
I think it was too much. There was too many people coming in and trying to stuff
always a day late, $1 short.
Jason, are you wearing your leather hat tonight? Are we in our cap? No, we're not getting the good cap.
No, I'm sorry.
No, you don't get it on the first appearance. No.
We're not special.
I don't want to blow all of my tricks in the first go around.
I'm so intrigued by Anneliese's life as a full-time lawyer for a corporation, 2 kids, trying to find love in Nebraska.
Looking for love. No. I'll let Anneliese sing.
Oh my God.
Do you have family where you live, Anneliese? Who helps you watch the kids?
I have parents who help me watch them.
They just moved here, though, didn't they? Like 6 months ago?
What?
When did your parents move here?
Oh yeah, wasn't until about a year ago that my parents were anywhere near me, such that they could help regularly. They couldn't.
So it's funny you say that because you said, "Oh, it's great," and I always thought, "Yeah, I'll have kids late in life," and so I had kids late in life. But the problem with having kids that late in life is my parents aren't around. We don't have parents.
Aww.
And we're on the East. We're East Coasters, and we're on the West Coast, so we have no help either. So anytime somebody watches our kids, we pay for it. Like there's only one way. Like anytime we have people who have their parents watch their kids and like, hey, we're all going out to dinner Saturday. I'm like, I'd love to go, be fine. But anytime we leave the house, we're like $125 in before we step out of the house. It's so crazy.
The way I cut down on my cost is I enlist child labor, aka Patty's kids.
We don't have them yet. We're close.
I pay them. But I'm not going to get like a bill for $20 an hour. I can pay them well.
You're going to get bare minimum child watching when you drop them off at my house. you're getting bare minimum.
Do you have to pay per kid? Anybody else? Are you paying per kid?
I don't even know because I just hand Patty some cash and I'm like, here you go. And my kids watch Disney and her daughters, her 2 daughters are always putting on makeup. And so my kids are like, I want to do makeup. And so they all do makeup. And I come back and my kids look like they're beauty queens.
Yes.
But see, when you're divorced, I mean, the way that visitation is normally, well, a lot of times done, at least with mine, was you got a whole weekend. So you had a whole weekend where they went off to the ex-husbands or grandmas or wherever. And that's when you went out. And 6 wonderful weeks during the summer.
I have every Saturday night free. That is how I go out to do comedy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. I used to, before I had kids, I was on stage like 6 nights a week.
That's amazing.
We were out every night. And part of me misses that life, but part of me also, like I tried to do them both, but I get up every morning and make the kids breakfast and get them to school.
Wow. I've never
My wife works. My wife has a full-time job. And so when I'm not working, but when I book if I'm working on Tacoma FD or shooting something, we have to hire help to help watch the kids. And you're bleeding money. It's crazy, man. It's just crazy nowadays.
It's way too expensive.
You need to find some cheap teenagers who will just like do your children's hair and makeup,
right?
And then just feed them pizza and send them on their way.
Well,
our
kids both live. Our sons both live in other states. One in South Dakota, one in Kansas City, Missouri, and so we're actually considering adopting a college kid that will just come and take care of us, mow our yard, take up the trash. Because we're getting a little older and it's like, we need somebody to help with this. Can you take down the Christmas tree?
Well, that's what they say. It's good to have girls. That's because I have 2 girls and everyone's always like, you're going to be thankful. Girls will take care of their parents. Boys don't. And I kind of did not. I sent money home for my parents, but I was in California. I didn't go back east as much. My sisters stayed back there and kind of took care of my parents. And I was like, see ya. And I left. So
one of our 3 will take care of his mother, but I'm screwed.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're not going to make it.
My goodness. My dad had 2 brothers and his mom, essentially in certain areas of help did not have help. So it was really weird because I was the oldest female and my mom didn't want to help my dad's mom. So like as a kid, I was recruited to do things that I didn't want to do, like help grandma try on this bra.
Oh.
Or make sure grandma showers when we're in town in Boston for the family wedding, or just weird stuff. And I was like,
wait, this is so weird. That's
How
so
old were you?
weird.
Right. I can't wait to have grandkids to help me put my bra on.
I was like, I mean,
At this point, you just give it up and let it go. It just hangs,
I
okay?
was like 14 or 15.
Well, I make him a bra.
Oh, see, I helped with my grandma, and I was like 8. Dark Lord may take care of you both.
My youngest we call the Dark Lord. Something
When
happened.
he says take care, he means he's going to take care of you.
Oh.
I don't know. Something happened.
He has Damien from The Omen as one of his children. He's actually, if you saw him, he's so sweet and beautiful and cute. But for some reason, Jason always talks about how he tries to kill him in his sleep.
Is that the one that shaved your
His
eyebrow?
eyebrow. Shaved
Right.
his eyebrow.
Yeah, he did. He shaved my eyebrow. Yeah.
How did
shaved
he
off.
get close enough to make this happen?
So my eldest son was helping me shave the back of my head, and I didn't realize he had handed the razor to Dark Lord, who walked right up and went, yeah.
Oh, no. My youngest son, we had just gotten married, and he'd never had a sister that shaved her legs. He went over and he took her razor out of the container, you know, how they on the wall. He shaved his tongue when he was 3. And that's when we were out. She was supposed to be watching him. And what we found out was he is a sneaky little person, even at the age of 3. Before calling for help, he rinsed the razor and put it away and then hollered, and then he didn't want to say how he did it. No. But it was from the movie Multiplicity, where number 4 shaves his tongue.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you be
That sounds like a
hysterical
lost
at 3? It'd hurt, you'd be bleeding. He's like, I got to clean up the scene of the crime.
I think that whole like shaved eyebrow thing is like in though. That's like hip. That's a thing, right?
Did you get a Klondike bar?
I don't know. I got teenagers.
Oh, yeah, that's
nothing.
a Klondike ad. That's funny. That is. Jobo says his taste changed that day. Talking about shit. That's pretty funny. We have a lot of good joke writers who watch this.
Right now we do. We need to.
But we just want to make sure that anybody who's watching comes to our page, because we don't just put up shows and bits of our comedy. We try to put fun memes. We create fun things. We have exchanges with other parenting meme things, and we just have a good time. And you never know. And we started doing, like, Tuesday is Dudes Day, which is perfect for you guys. You know. And Wednesday is Wines Day, because that's important. And Sundays are Single Mom Sundays, and Anneliese handles that. Occasionally she takes a break, but she's too busy.
More memes and more like content, like reels and stuff like that. Because I used to do it all the time, and now I'm just like exhausted. I'm like,
it's weird.
Anneliese, I can't believe it. Person.
Anneliese, you're just a single mom with a full-time job and 2 kids. Why can't you get all this stuff done? That's crazy.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, you're managing your time.
I mean, like, I have a joke about that. Like, you know, when you're a single parent, you have to be like charged up energy-wise, and you have some valid choices on how to do that. You know, like 10 Monster Energy drinks a day. You know, maybe coffee enemas would be good. I don't know. I've heard those are great.
Sounds delicious. Yeah.
Or like
we have the same conversation. It's honestly why we're not growing like we should either, because we do this show because it's live and it's easy and it's fun. We just throw it away. But then during the week, I'm like, dude, I'm at swim practice. I don't even have time to do stuff. I'm driving around taking care of the kids. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, the people who are full time at this is crazy.
While you're waiting, while they're playing soccer or whatever, you got your phone. I've always got my phone so I can do stuff.
I don't care enough.
That's like my kids play travel sports, and we're so busy. It's like when they're in practice, I don't know if like you take a nap in your car like while they're at practice. That's like your nap time. That's like my time to pop a muscle relaxer and pass out with some chicken nuggets.
I was gonna say your chicken nugget story. You got so drunk on that softball.
Oh
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know if you hang out with a lot of your like fellow parents from the soccer teams and whatnot. But my 2 daughters play softball. They play select softball, and the parents from the softball teams are just straight up drunks, and I love them. And
they're watching me.
Hey, we're the same. We're at a Catholic school, it's one of the few places where they still serve alcohol, like school events.
Yes.
So it's pretty great. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're like, I mean, it's like we're hanging out in the parking lot while the kids are sleeping because they got to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning for a game in the morning, and we're still partying out in the parking lot with our camping chairs, like doing fireball shooters.
And you're trying to carry your cooler
and trying to carry coolers, drunkenly trying to carry coolers up the stairs, and her teammates are watching me.
McDonald's.
Oh yeah, and
how else could you get through it if you were sober? I mean, who could survive parenthood sober? I don't know how anybody can do it.
It's the out of town tournaments. Like one tournament that we went to, there was a McDonald's that was in the parking lot of the hotel. Well, I had been drinking with the parents and then decided to go to McDonald's. We were all like, yeah, let's go to McDonald's as one does. And
one does.
And it was in the parking lot of but only the drive-through was open. So I had to get in my minivan. Okay, that's a no judgment zone, right?
It was
a free zone.
Same parking lot.
The same parking lot. I had to get in my minivan and go through the McDonald's drive-through. And then when I came back and I got up the next morning, I had parked very, very weirdly because I had been drinking and was parking my minivan. And then my youngest decides to tell everybody at the softball field that I was drunk driving the night before. She was like,
that's not that's not how it happened.
My mom was out drunk driving. Yeah. I was like, it was in the same parking lot. It was and I ate all of her chicken nuggets too, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be cool because this is our first show that's going to be used as evidence, Jason. It's going to be super fun. This is, I can't wait to.
This far in, I'm very surprised
to find court. That's crazy.
Parking lot.
Crazy.
Do your kids say, I mean, they're young enough that they probably have said things incorrectly. Do you have anything that's really cute, how they mispronounce something?
I have something very specific that she wrote. I make crepes for my daughters in the mornings. I'm a crepe maker with them.
Nice.
Fruit, whipped cream. We kind of do it up. And it's become this thing where it's like it's special, but it's like once or twice a week. They go, Dad, can we have crepes? I go, yeah, today's crepe day. So we make it. So my daughter last year in first grade had to fill out the sheet of I love my dad because it was for Father's Day, and it was like his favorite color is this, is this. And then it said, why do you love your dad so much? And it said, because he makes great craps. Kraps. He's really good at making craps.
Dads are really good at making craps.
I put it on the wall. I was like, oh my God. It took me a second. I was like, listen, to be fair, I'm great at making craps. I'll make amazing craps.
Your
good.
Chocolate craps are really good.
They're soft serve. Yeah, fully. They take great shapes. They're great shape. But I had to go. I talked to the teacher, and she was like, "I wondered what that was." I said, "I make crepes." But the teachers were all like, "Hey, what's up with Mr. Kaler and his crap making?"
Oh my goodness!
More so that she was impressed by it.
Wow. So impressed by my dad's crap.
Jason, do your kids say anything kind of cute or different?
So my twins are nonverbal, but the 7-year-old,
right?
I remember when he made his first Father's Day card he ever made me. He wrote "Happy Fat Hers Day." The fat fathers was way too far apart, and to this day, I'm pretty sure it was intentional.
But
it was Happy Fat Hers Day.
Oh,
dude, I got happy Farters Day, Farters Day. I got Happy Farters Day, and to be fair, I'm a great farter. And I make great craps, but yeah. Why does
my oldest son, he was nonverbal for about 2 years. Well, it wasn't completely nonverbal. He only said like 10 words, but the words showed that he didn't really have like a speech issue. I mean, he said hard words like flag and that's a hard word to say, but he wouldn't say ball or grandma or anything. So we had to do speech therapy and all this kind of thing. So we got all the diagnosis stuff going on. So we didn't really make fun of him when he didn't say things right, but we finally told him he would say Asiago cheese was Asiago. It wasn't Asiago. And so when he was 27, we're like, honey, it's Asiago. It's not Asiago cheese. You're 27. I mean, he's fine.
Our twins sound like minions when they talk.
I kind of like Asiago better, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to start using that. Asiago is fantastic.
Asiago cheese.
Yeah.
Daddy, you passed me that there
Asia go cheese. My son used to think that we went to Steak and Shake or Steak and Quake. I don't know, one of the two, but
it's a Quake.
It's Steak and Quake.
Yeah.
It said that that there on the menu there was boneless wings. And I mentioned that to my son, you could get boneless wings. Well, at the end of the meal when he was done eating, he said, "Okay, I'm ready for my bonus wings." And I was like, I think
I'll drink to that.
Like, I heard you get bonus wings here. Like
man, if there's bonus wings somewhere, I want to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like bonus wings.
He was like,
hey, Anneliese, do you have one of those? Do you have something?
I have some interesting stories about what my kids called stuff, my youngest especially. So speaking of poop, my youngest called her poops like diarrhea. She called it angry chocolate.
I'm stealing that.
I also will be stealing that.
That is the greatest term of all time. Yes, I'm taking that. What else? Gets more.
Oh, my youngest is just wild. I actually have a lot of stand up about her. What else has she said? She
avocados.
Has not a mispronunciation, but we were at the pediatrician for her kindergarten checkup, and she decided she was going to tell the doctor her full medical history and tell him everything she knew about medicine. So she's like, "Doctor, the boy parts are dicks."
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
They are. Right.
I mean,
he might not have known that. I mean, I'm glad she
I
clarified.
don't think he
that.
knew that. I think he
helping him out. She was helping him out.
You might have thought they were peanuts.
She might have thought that he might have thought they were wee-wees. I don't know, but like she pointed this out to him because apparently the story I'm told is that when my kids were on the playground with their dad, my older kid read that word out loud because somebody had graffitied it. And then their dad explained what it was. So
that's where they learned it. Thanks.
They learned it from the graffiti.
So unfortunately, I have 2 girls and a boy that's in between the 2 girls. My son is the middle child. And I used to just kind of bathe them all 3 together because it just made things easier. And then it got to the point where my youngest she pointed at my son's wiener.
Mr. Happy.
And then he said, "No, that's not, you don't have one of those. You have 2 butts." And so he continued to tell her, you don't have one of those. You got 2 butts. And that was when I stopped bathing them all together.
we just talked about lightsabers. We just talked about lightsabers and how streams should not cross. So that's what we did.
And then it was front butt for the end of that. No front butt.
When my babies were really young, I would bathe. They would be in the bath with me. And then she got to an age, and I would cover it. I'm Irish Catholic, so I have shame. And so I have like a dish towel or a small towel over it. Okay. Not so much out of real shame, but because kids just grab things, and I didn't want anyone to grab it. So at one point, she was getting to a certain age, and I was getting out of the tub, and I still was kind of covered, but I think there was a little side glimpse. And she goes, "Hey, Daddy, you have a tail." And I was like, "Oh, this is our last bath ever." And I do have a tail. And hey, do me a favor, remind your mother that Daddy has a tail if you could.
And you'd like to make it wag. Okay.
And then I never bathed again with them. But they were little. The 2 of them, we were all in the tub together. Yeah. Long time ago. Hey, listen, we went way long. We went way longer.
Yeah. It was super fun.
And it was so funny because they asked if they go, "Hey, is it okay if we drink?" And for anyone who's watching this, who's probably drunk, this is one of the 2 or 3 shows we didn't drink, right, Jason? We're normally.
That's true. I didn't either today.
I make Negronis or I make Manhattans. Probably next month. I'm trying to clean it up a little for January.
Are you trying to be dry?
It's semi-dry.
I mean, slightly more.
The pandemic. We drank every day of the pandemic. Every day. Every day. Every day. Every day. We weren't we didn't drink all hours of the night. But every night it'd be like making dinner. We'd have a glass of wine or a drink or whatever. And I was finally like, I gotta stop this. I'm killing myself.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that guy better, to be honest with you. I wish, maybe you've reignited the wine fire for next week, maybe. Hey, listen, where can people come find you guys?
It's YER, Your Mom's Comedy Show on Facebook. That's where we post all of our different shows. I have a personal Instagram. It's just Kendra. Is it underscore? I'm looking because I don't know. It's underscore Karbowski. If you can find Karbowski, which is Karbowski. I think Karbowski, but with a K. And then Anneliese, if you want to give out your handle, you can. But if you don't, that's okay.
I think it's on Instagram, Anneliese M. Wright.
Yeah.
But like,
and if you're a single dude, and if you're a single guy near Omaha, and you like successful women with cute kids who have like their crap together, and you would like to maybe go see their show, do you have little guy groupies after the show coming up? Little, eh?
Oh my
God. You get some action in the green room. You got to try that out. That's the joy of the room.
Oh no!
So
if you seen our comedy scene, you wouldn't.
If you go to Omaha at the club where we are, you do not want to sit on anything in the green room. Like I don't want to sit on it. I don't want to touch it. I am very careful to touch as little as I can.
Walk around with your mom hand sanitizer spray.
And I swear
that's where the next. That's where the next pandemic's coming from. It's not an open animal market in China. It's a green room at the La Jolla Comedy Store. It's not.
That's
one of my favorite clubs on earth. It's usually the condo. It's the comics condo.
Oh God, no! Those are scary and rapey and yucky. Yeah, no. We would just hang together, and I've had to travel, but I usually just bring my doorman, my bouncer, and my computer. Tech guy.
Can't wait to meet Chuck one day.
This is why we like wineries, because they actually keep their stuff like pretty nice.
Right.
Except for the Gilf guy.
Oh,
but
I want to do vineyards too.
He ended up being my best friend afterwards. He was really nice.
We're coming out for one of the vineyard tours. We want to come out and do. That'll be my excuse to get back on the road.
One of our biggest things we did, one of our big breakthroughs, was SIP Nebraska, which is a big wine festival. And we did that one in Lincoln, and we're hoping to do one at the College World Series. So you get to be there.
You better put in a good word for us so we can get up there. I should come back to the scene of the crime where my child was born.
Yeah, and just call Daisy or Colleen at the Funny Bone and see if you can get in there sometime. That'd be awesome. I was there for a fundraiser not that long ago. I got to do Good Morning America. It was a miracle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they were looking for people that change careers later in life, and I messaged them. I sent in my comedy videos and my bio, my information, and they came and shot at my house. So that was kind of cool. He did an interview. It was supposed to be Laura, but they had somebody else asking the question. So it looked like I was talking to Laura, but I wasn't. I was wearing this shirt. And then they needed more comedy video and pictures. So the Funny Bone was kind enough to give me some time. And a great photographer, Britton Hackey. HACKE photography out of Sioux City.
We'll get all the details about the photographers and such later. We'll have Chuck submit a full report.
I can do the bio anyway. So I got to do that. That was like one of the most awesome things. But they were
actually really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
We got to wrap this thing. Go find them. They are super funny. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming on and doing
for having us.
Sharing all your stories. Super fun. Yeah. All right. That is it. Thank you guys. Remember to share, like, subscribe, follow, do. This is the only time I ever tell people to do that. But for the love of God, come support us. And that is it. We'll see you guys next time here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.